Okay. That. Just do a little refresh. I'm going to mute that. All right. Just a little fine tuning. Then we're going to get the Periscope up and going. Oh, no, I'm not crazy about that. Yeah, either way, looks like a loss. Oh, well. All right. No one can see you.
Oh, it's all over here.
Yep. We got camera is live right now. Yep, that guy's up. And we're just getting the last few things situated. Oh, God.
Hey, what's all this about?
What is happening? Action. Movie. Playoffs. Bracket. Fill. Okay. Just getting the last few things situated. Hello, Juan. Stay tuned. We're getting a few last things finalized here. In case anyone's wondering, we are the Cretans Guild. Team of 3 guys. Boy, oh boy. This is going to look kind of rough before it's all set and gone. All right.
3 guys, 2 canines.
3 guys and a couple canines. A couple boys. It gets annoying.
Technically 1 girl. But all of us have respiratory issues.
Who's the girl?
Tessie.
Oh, Tessie.
Mm-hmm. She is a non-participatory member.
Yep.
She's our Joey Bishop.
Yeah. Joey Bishop.
Does that mean
I'm crazy about this camera angle. I can't really see what's going on unless I do this. Need a couple boxes as we're still getting ready.
Oh, I see. All right.
All right. Get started in just a minute. You're going to... You making drinks?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, make drinks. All right, we're just getting a couple things situated. We're both live here on Periscope and we're live here on YouTube. You can go to our either channel at Cretans Guild, both on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all that. What we got going on here today is the action movie playoffs, where we're going to pit movies head to head, and based on people voting, is going to determine if what moves on.
Yeah!
What he said. So we're just getting a couple things situated. We wanted to go live because I was telling people all day, hey, we'll be up at 7. We'll be up at 7. Well, we were just about ready at 7, and then one of our cameras died. So we're trying to get situated still. Won't be too long. Go ahead and ask some questions. Like, tell us your favorite action movies while you're waiting. Pretty good guess. It will be on the list already. Just maintaining a view every once in a while. Okay. All right. Periscope camera's going to get a little wonky for a second. Stay tuned. Yep. Corey's in the background mixing drinks at the moment. All right. This will give us a better angle. I could probably improve on this a little bit still. Sit tight. We'll get going in just a second. As you can see, well, I just saw my phone just got in the shot on the YouTube channel. But maybe we need to back this up just a bit.
How many different streams have we got going on?
We got 2 live streams going on at the moment.
2. What's the one over there?
That's YouTube Live.
Okay.
And that's Periscope.
All right.
I wonder. Nope, can't adjust that. All right. We're almost ready.
Yeah?
Yeah. If when you come in, go ahead and have a seat here.
Okay.
And then just keep an eye on if anyone says anything on Periscope.
Okay.
And we'll see if anyone says anything on YouTube.
See, I've never used Periscope before, though. What happens?
It will just be like a little chat, little bleep will come up on the side there.
Okay. All right.
And you'll see someone pop in, just say hi to them. Well, you're going to mix drinks. Go back to drinks.
Yep.
As soon as you get back. Well, yeah. You know what? Since we're here, I'm going to plug this in. Yes, we have tablespoons. I'm going to let you find them. That's so cool. Make sure this gets in our shot. Gives a nice, healthy yellow glow to the whole thing. All right. They're next to the oven in that cabinet.
Yeah. Gimli's hiding out underneath the table.
Okay, well, let him hide.
I think he's taking the whole tablespoon thing well too literally.
What, are you cooking meth in there? We're not cooking meth, by the way.
Hello, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Our address is
Flowers by Irene.
Crystal Blue Persuasion.
All right, so as we're getting started, we're just getting underway. Still crossing paths, so please forgive us. All right, I'm going to sit in the main chair here until Corey shows up. So, what we decided to do a couple of years ago, 2 of us, Jay and I, had the comedy movie playoffs. Excuse me. I wonder if the mic picked that up. That's funny. Yep. Where we've tried to determine, based on votes, what was the most popular comedy movie of all time. For those of you who never saw it, the end result was Ghostbusters. You beat out Monty Python and the Holy Grail in the finals. It was very cool. So I'm hoping to recreate some of this magic with the action movie playoffs. In the process, we're trying to pimp our YouTube channel. Cretan's Guild. Yeah, I'm a whore.
Well,
but I'm going to go ahead and mention that some of these brackets, every 4-team bracket, we've named after a particular director. We have the Cameron bracket, Wu bracket, Sturgis, Hill, and over in the corner on the other side we have Donner, Rodriguez, Vaughn, who's one of the modern day action directors, who's really good. He's going to be up there with, he's going to be a legendary name one day with the other guys. And McTiernan, who everybody knows. Now, before we start listing, are you good to go?
Mm-hmm.
All right, come on in, have a seat.
Let's see
Gimli, your
what we're doing
claws
here.
are tap dancing. We got Gimli the pug. Come on, out. Out. Gimli, get out. I know, so sad.
As he walks away dejectedly.
Yeah, I know.
But he's a
let's-
pug, so he kind of looks like that all the time.
All right, go ahead.
So you hadn't added the most important.
Just walking in front of the camera, left and right, left and right.
This is what happens next.
So we do have we have 32 listings here. I just flashed the sheet. But hey, we're gonna fill out the bracket today, and everyone's gonna get to see it. What's our? We still at 0 on.
Ain't nobody saying shit.
Yeah. Well, do we have any viewers?
It's
a-
it's a 0.
It's a 0.
Next to the
It's a
little
big
head.
fat 0. We're doing great.
Fucking whatever. This is just like my Twitch output nightly.
You know what?
You get used
we're,
to it.
We're doing this for ourselves, then, at this
Yep.
point. All right, so we might as well just get started. We have 32 movies. They're going to cross the entire panel. We're going to fill that sucker out today. We're going to tell you right now, our number 1 seeds are Die Hard, Aliens, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Enter the Dragon.
Not pretty obvious picks, honestly.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and fill out the Cameron bracket right now, which would be this top corner here. Let's see if I can do this without blocking the camera. All right, first off in the Cameron bracket, we have
Wait, here goes the ramen.
Die Hard is our first movie.
Don't shit yourself.
What did we lose?
So here goes the ramen.
Oh, man.
It's gonna be.
Get that in front of the camera if you're going to do it.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
realize this was
Let's
an
do it right
event.
here. Yeah, sure.
All right.
Why not?
Here we go. Oh, fucking hell! All right.
There it is.
All right.
And nobody who knows those drink have no idea what you just did. And those of you who do know, you know.
Well, some remorseless nerd's gonna know.
Yeah. Oh, that looked pretty good. All right. So after that, we have
As I struggled with the cap.
going against Die Hard. We will have The Rock. Something tells me I'm going to need a number of Sharpies.
Where do you keep the things?
I keep them. They're down here by my knees.
Oh, okay.
I'll get
All right.
another one. It's just this one started to dry up a bit. So that is our first matchup: Die Hard versus The Rock. That is a number 1 seed versus an 8 seed. Staying in the Cameron bracket
Oh shit!
as a number 4
This is
seed,
good.
we have. Man, this thing is dying. Yeah, let me grab another one. Well, as you can see, it starts with a G. It's giving it away.
Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day. No, not Groundhog Day.
Oh, okay.
What else could it be?
Gremlins.
Gremlins. Was that an action? That's more of a Christmas movie.
Some would call it a horror. Well, I guess back in the day it was a horror movie, but not
Yeah.
so much anymore. Now it's a Jim Henson extravaganza.
What we got here is a long name, so I'm just going to keep it short. Guardians of the Galaxy. They will go up against the John Woo classic movie, Hard Boiled.
Fucking A.
Hard Boiled is going up against Guardians of the Galaxy. Now let's just talk about that real quick.
By the way, what's the policy on cussing while we're doing?
Let's try to keep it to a minimum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, shit. All right.
Yeah, I'll just need you to keep an eye on the Periscope if anyone pops in there.
Do I look like a producer?
Yes, you have to act like a producer.
In that case, I'm just gonna leave,
Not do shit.
and you guys get this. You
So-
got this all yourself, and then once everything goes all wrong,
Say everybody's doing everything wrong.
yep, I'll come back in and blame it all on you, and then I'll go home and cash a check, and then get as many of my friends into my business as possible.
That is a producer who has never worked a day in production.
Mhm.
Anyway.
Which is like 80% of them. Let's just go ahead and air our grievances about our jobs.
Yeah, well, we should probably not do that. All right, so first off, with the camera bracket, Die Hard versus The Rock. Corey, what are you thinking?
Between Die Hard and The Rock.
Yeah, I mean, one's a classic. Actually, they're both really good action movies, and well, that's a tough call for me actually.
They both pretty much fill out the definition of a classic without any argument.
Yeah, both of them are the quintessential.
The Rock has better dialogue, I think. It's got more of those memorable lines pertaining to prom queens and
Ooh, that's
what have
pretty.
you.
Now, who has the better one-liner quip? Because yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, or God, which one in The Rock is the best one?
Yippee-ki-yay is pretty much everlasting. Wait, correct me if I'm wrong, but no, that does happen at the end. Okay. But between The Rock by volume has Die Hard beat hands down. However, in my opinion, just as like from a purely film craft sort of a standpoint, it's Die Hard, Die Hard, Die Hard all the way.
Yeah, I have to agree. Die Hard is right up there. It's pretty damn good. Let's see. But the next one is a little unconventional. Guardians of the Galaxy up against Hard Boiled.
That's so fucking unfair.
For who?
It shouldn't even be. Well, for Guardians, it's Hard Boiled, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
I mean, not only did like Guardians, okay, Guardians like put a new sort of a sheen on the superhero genre by completely displacing the typical setting from Go and creating something new out of that to begin with, and from there it just built itself on up, and it's completely accessible to a new audience, and it did a lot of things that people who were getting a little bit worn out on the superhero genre were able to find as new and refreshing, and that is what Guardians did really well. Hard Boiled though is fucking hard boiled.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
another difficult thing is Guardians changed, a little bit of Hollywood in general, but more so comic book movies. After Guardian, especially when it comes to soundtracks, have you seen like all the trailers since then that have changed their adaptive style to putting in classic rock music?
A lot of Guardians' approach to incorporating the soundtrack, or at least culturally relevant soundtrack, into the movie's events, and sometimes framing the events were, and this is me giving credit to a director I often don't really dig a whole lot.
Right.
A lot of that was taken from Tarantino, because the guy is almost like a relentless fucking pop culture junkie.
That's true.
And that's reflected in so many of his movies. But afterwards, after Guardians trendified it, yeah, you can see that like all over the fucking place. It's almost as ubiquitous as the Hans Zimmer French horn fart that you see bringing into the trailers to a lot of like epic action movies and such. But fucking Hard Boiled, man. Even if you asked the director of Guardians of the Galaxy which movie he would probably slot himself into, he would say Hard Boiled. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Hard Boiled was so influential that one scene spawned an entire idea for another movie.
Yeah.
Shoot 'em up.
Bullet ballets and shit.
Yeah, well, no, because of the scene with him running through the hospital with the baby under his arm, that spawned the entire storyline behind Hard Boiled, or Shoot 'em Up.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it was lifted. Shoot 'em Up lifted a lot of shit, too.
Shoot 'em Up did. Shoot 'em Up was weird, man.
It lifted a lot of shit, and it had fun with a lot of shit. Sorry, I'm cussing way too much here.
It's all right.
But it was like the light novelization of what made Hard Boiled fun and stuff.
Right.
But I can say one thing about Hard Boiled that would get people to pay attention to it, and that would be pointing out that I wouldn't say it suffers. It enjoys a 3-hour runtime. It feels like 90 minutes clean. You don't even know that you've been sitting down for that long until the credits roll, and you're like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah. Now, see, we're getting some people on Periscope. If you want to, go ahead, tell us what you think of these matchups. Who do you think would win? Corey, when they comment, just let me know.
Bloodsport.
Bloodsport didn't make the list. It did make the list. It didn't make the bracket. Didn't get enough votes.
Because I'm not well versed on this category of movie. I'm guessing this is. I mean, it's 80s-tastic. I know that much. This is a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. Unless
our viewer can tell us more, but I believe that is accurate.
Okay.
Bloodsport. Is that accurate with Bloodsport being? Or am I thinking of something else?
No. Yes.
Yes. All right. Perfect.
It is. Let me see what we've got in the break. I'm not going to spoil any of it.
Yeah, we're not
going to spoil any of it. But I need to know that we've got at least a little bit of representation from the late 80s, early 90s.
I would say we
Rock'em
do.
Sock'em sort of movies.
Well, I mean, hell, The Rock is on there.
The Rock and Bloodsport are very different.
Yes. Well, yes.
I don't think so.
Well, no, Rock was actually more late 90s. But you know what? We're talking about John Woo.
Well, mid 90s, and it's a Prison Break movie.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next set of movies, the next 4. We're calling that the Woo bracket. Here's the first one at the number 3 seed.
Because it wouldn't seem right if Hard Boiled was also in the Woo bracket. Perhaps there'd be a, I don't know, conflict of interest or an overlapping of themes.
We got Bad Boys 2.
That's 2 Bay movies.
Yeah.
There's 2 Bay movies in one semi-final bracket. Is that right? School me on this. I'm not familiar with sports or sports tropisms.
What? Say that again. Sorry.
School me on this. I'm not familiar with sports tropisms.
Okay.
Like the brackets here.
Yes.
Like you've got. Okay, go ahead.
No. What were you gonna say?
Okay.
Yeah, I know we got The Rock and Bad Boys 2. Yes,
Right.
we have 2 Michael Bay movies.
So this bit, what would this bit be?
Over
opening
there,
bracket.
we got Donner at the top and Rodriguez underneath.
I mean, the anatomy of the bracket itself. Like when you get down to here, you're talking about finals. Over
Yes.
here would be semifinals, and then
Correct. Quarterfinals.
and then what opens
First
it up?
round.
First round.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is our first round bracket.
Corey doesn't know much about sports. He knows a lot about that.
Yeah.
But we got Bad Boys 2 versus 300. And after that, the number 2 seed for this entire section, we have Gladiator versus some might say this is the best comic book movie of all time, The Dark Knight.
I would say it's one of them.
Yeah. All right. Again,
You know which one I wouldn't say is the best comic book movie of all time?
what's that?
Fucking 300. How'd that get on here?
Well, is that a comic book or is that a? Because it's an action movie.
It's a comic book retelling of that particular.
Well, it's more of a graphic novel. I mean, is that not the same thing?
I consider them to be synonymous.
Because one of them has more text, I believe. Or is that just really
Jesus,
splitting
I don't
hairs?
know if you've ever read like any single issue Joe Kelly. Those would easily
Well.
trump 300 in terms of text.
Against
But, yeah.
your average everyday comic book.
I don't know. It was definitely more epic in scale because it had to take place in chunks. You know,
Uh-huh.
0.
Okay. All right, so let's look at that first one, Bad Boys 2 versus 300.
Mhm.
I'm kind of a fan of one of these. The other one, I don't hate it. Not my movie.
I've never seen Bad Boys 2. I have no skin in that game whatsoever.
You know what? I would have to agree. It's
But there are a lot of people that swear by Bad Boys 2.
I
including
know.
Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one would be harder. Boy, I have the sloppiest handwriting in the world. Glad I ate Thor.
It's legible.
The Dark Knight. Now, The Dark Knight got a 7th seed in this one. Gladiator's the number 2 seed.
Mhm.
I would not be surprised if Dark Knight won this in the end.
Me neither, because that's the one I'd be voting for.
Yeah.
And the bias is clear. The Dark Knight has like a pretty stalwart crime fiction origins, stemming from being inspired a lot by Heat, which I'm surprised did not make any spot on this list.
Yeah, there were a couple that just barely got squeaked out.
Mm-hmm. And incorporating a couple of political themes without being too in your face about it. The only thing I didn't like about The Dark Knight a whole lot was that the dialogue was weak where it needed to really stand out.
Mm-hmm.
But it had a lot of good lines, owing mostly due to Heath Ledger's performance as Joker, you know?
Yeah. Well, we're going to move on to the Sturgis bracket, the next 4 movies, with the number 1 seed.
Sturgis for the kids. What's that in reference to? John Sturgis, right?
Yes.
John Sturgis? Okay.
Yeah.
Are
Are you trying to trick me?
No, I was just saying. Dirty Dozen, The Magnificent Seven,
Oh, yeah.
all that good stuff.
We have Aliens versus Robert Rodriguez classic Desperado.
Now that's a good matchup.
Surprisingly, that's a 1 versus 8 seed, which means Desperado it barely squeaked in there. The 8 seeds are the just barelys.
Uh-huh. Now, and the interesting thing about that is that if you put those movies to any sort of action junkie whatsoever, they are disparate films. They're as disparate as they can get, as genres could get within a single grouping, and they wouldn't be able to tell you what's what.
Yeah,
I think some aliens might have more in the way of diehards that would be like, look, I love Desperado, but it's aliens. Like myself, I like both of those movies, and both of those movies made a shit ton of waves in terms of like
Oh yeah,
solidifying.
especially Aliens. How
Yeah.
much other movies it's inspired.
But I myself, I would give it to Desperado. For some reason, the imagery in it resonates with me more strongly than Aliens did.
All right, finishing up in the Sturgis bracket, we have RoboCop versus movie we were just talking about.
Oh,
Shoot 'em up.
oh shit! How could you do that to me?
Oh my God, that is.
Damn it!
There's going to be a lot of these where, oh my God, they're going to be hard to choose from.
Oh crap!
Yeah.
Jeez, I want Shoot 'em Up to go ahead because I think it's so underrated.
Right.
But
And just for clarity, this is the original RoboCop, not the piece
not,
of shit
not,
remake.
Not the remake. I've never seen the remake.
Good.
It was
It
trash.
was bad, and it has Michael Keaton in it. It's bad.
I do appreciate the Michael Keaton resurgence in Hollywood. Though.
Yes,
That's
but
nothing
still.
but a good thing.
Oh God, this did not help him.
Here's where the dilemma is coming from. Mostly, like I said, I want Shoot 'em Up to. I would like Shoot 'em Up to get more exposure. But two action movies with strong but non-invasive political currents going next to each other in the finals, Dark Knight versus RoboCop, would be very cool. I'd love to see that happen.
Now, in my opinion, this last bracket on this side, this is the toughest, in my opinion. We're going to start with Lethal Weapon versus Spider-Man 2.
Lethal Weapon, who nobody is ever too old for.
Is this our second sequel on the list? Yes, it is. It's
So
our
Bad Boys 2 and then Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. And then
and technically Dark Knights.
well, yes, you're right. So we got 3 sequels on here.
Yeah.
And wrap it up in the Hill bracket, we have the Terminator.
Trying to play me out like as if my name was Sega.
And Super Cop, the Jackie Chan movie.
Which in actuality is Police Story
3.
3.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Huh.
This, in my opinion, is the toughest one to choose from.
Yeah. All right. Lethal Weapon is another standard bearer versus Spider-Man 2, which reinvented quite a bit of itself.
Yeah.
Which is kind of hard for superhero movies to do. We're not done. I don't know. Where would you go with that at all?
Spider-Man 2, the best Spider-Man movie, and that includes the recent one, in my opinion.
That was a close contest.
Like I said, yes, close contest, but if I had to pick one, I would pick Spider-Man 2. Going against Lethal Weapon, which, wow, that is really tough. I would probably lean towards Lethal Weapon. And then Terminator versus Super Cop. God, I love both of these movies. I would have to say Terminator by a hair, in my opinion.
That's surprising because it's so iconic.
Yeah.
And like people who would be like diehard into the Chinese action movies.
As great as Super Cop is, not the best piece of work, in my opinion.
From Jackie Chan, or
yes, and its director, because I think the director of that did a series of the Police Story.
Refresh my memory on that. Who was it? Sammo Hung?
Boy, I want to say yes. It escapes me at the moment.
Okay.
But that is a very, very, very tough bracket to call.
Now, you would think that it would be pretty difficult for me to pick between Lethal Weapon and Spider-Man 2, but I would pick Lethal Weapon immediately.
Oh, really?
Spider-Man 2, like I said, was impressive in what it tried to do with how it was telling Peter Parker's story and how it was building upon already or pre-existing American iconography as far as comic books go. Lethal Weapon, though, Shane Black, for starters. Shane Black's screenplay, so that kind of already gives it a bias. Oh, this dude wants to pitch in. Oh, no. All right, you want me to take care of that? Or
Yeah, go see what's
right.
going on out
Anyway, Lethal Weapon, I would pick Super Cop because I have an inverse bias against James Cameron. You may continue.
there. Yeah. All right. I'm going to stand in front of the camera for these next few because they're going to be on this side of the bracket. That is if you're watching on the YouTube. All right, we're going to rifle through some of this. The Donner bracket, these 4. The number 1 seed is going to be a dead pen, is what it's going to be. We got Raiders of the Lost Ark. All right. And that is going to be going against the Arnold Schwarzenegger, not his most famous work, but very well known, Commando. That's a 1 versus an 8 seed. After that, we got Jurassic Park. And that's going against
Little bastard told me to go get him a beer.
Independence Day.
Ugh.
Now, I wrote ID4 because that's a lot faster than Independence Day. All right.
Sissy.
Yeah, well.
That's
Point if someone joins that one.
yeah.
All right, so that's the Donner bracket. Raiders of the Lost Ark versus Commando. That's pretty easy for me. There's Commando out actions Raiders of the Lost Ark, but I think Raiders of the Lost Ark is the better movie.
You're just getting old, John.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, Raiders. That's kind of a no contest bit there.
And kind of the same thing for Jurassic Park versus Independence Day. I think Jurassic Park's a better movie.
That's because it is. It's kind of a cheat. Who voted for Independence Day?
Oh,
I mean, it
got a number 5 seed,
it was
so
fun.
a lot of people voted for
and
it.
it's identifiable, and it did a couple of things pretty well, but it was just it's freaking Independence Day. I don't know. I guess what it did in like terms of blockbuster spectacle was pretty much was a huge like milestone, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of the not to sound like a film snob, but it is ultimately pretty meaningless, the movie. And if we're like kicking out stuff like Bloodsport, to go back to the guy was participating earlier, it's like we're putting Independence Day in the place of that. That's just basically, I don't know. It's like we're swapping out Budweiser for Miller,
Well, this is where people can have their say and vote for the matchup that you recommend.
Viva la action movies.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Next, we got the Rodriguez bracket. We got Deadpan still.
Deadpan with Ryan Reynolds and
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Great. Yeah, that was terrible.
Not only was that not the movie you're talking about, but that was a really awful joke, and I don't understand it. Now that hits left my mouth.
All right. First off, we got Predator versus Lord of the Rings: Two Towers.
Two Towers. Okay, pretty easy choice for me.
Which one was for
Predator.
you? Yeah.
It's
Two Towers, awesome movie, but Predator is better action.
Yeah, it's fucking Predator.
Yeah, after Schwarzenegger threw up a limp knife in Commando, we got Predator, which knocked it out of the freaking park.
Yeah.
Here we got another sequel, Die Hard 2, against a more modern movie.
Die Hard 2.
Yeah, up against Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim. Die Hard 2, huh? All right. So the rule is that we do not consider movie properties by their series. They are standalone. They are standalone entrants. Because we have Die Hard 2 up.
Yes,
Yeah.
but Die Hard, thankfully, they're not. It's not one movie per franchise. It's definitely not that.
Copy that, Starbuck. Okay. Die Hard 2 and Pacific Rim. Die Hard 2 is not one of my favorite movies.
What was Pacific Rim?
See, here's the thing about Pacific Rim. It was kind of a shallow flick. But a lot of the fight scenes were really goddamn creative. Really goddamn creative.
I'm still disappointed. The one Jaeger that had the 3 pilots,
Yeah.
and had 3 arms, we didn't get to see him do anything. I was so excited to see that one.
I wanted to see the Bulldog piloting his own Jaeger. Perhaps they will satisfy that in the second movie.
It's in the shape of Lockjaw.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
No, it's actually the Bulldog restaurant from The Rocketeer.
I like that.
I don't know. Pacific Rim is also one of the only 3D movies that I've seen where I felt that 3D added significantly to the experience rather than act as a distraction or even took away from it. But no, that was almost Pacific Rim almost made me get a 3D Blu-ray player because I felt it
really?
It added that much of an enhancement. Yeah.
All right.
Die Hard 2 though.
For our YouTube audience, please bear with me. We're moving the microphone at the moment because I don't think they can pick up Corey very well.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's not your fault. You're on the other side of the room. I'm just moving. And Swamp Thing fell. Got to be here to understand that joke.
Alec Holland took a tumble.
Yeah. All right. We're just readjusting one thing real quick.
His ass was grass, and it got mowed.
Okay. Hopefully that doesn't throw off the periscope too much.
Ooh. Ooh. How about that?
Is everything still in frame?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well lit and all.
I guess I'll stand for the rest of the way.
I don't know. I mean, if the mic's picking me up, you can sit over. Well, no, you gotta.
I
gotta
can't go back and forth.
The
So
thing-
I'll just stand here.
The action's over there, and you got to do the thing.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
That's right, Vanna.
All right. Where are we?
Show
We
a
are
bit of
in the
shoulder.
Vaughn bracket.
Mm-hmm.
With the number 1 seed, we got
Seed. It's a good drink, by the way.
we got Enter the Dragon.
Enter the Dragon.
And this one's gonna make Jay happy.
Kingsman.
Kingsman.
Yeah. One of the that's exhibit B in why Matthew Vaughn ought to be considered one of the new masters of action.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that? Yeah, that is in the Vaughn bracket. I think is that the first time that's happened? A movie.
That a Vaughn movie?
Wait, did Vaughn do Kingsman?
Vaughn did do Kingsman, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and that's the Vaughn bracket.
All right, good.
I'm saying that's the first director named bracket
Mhm.
with a movie that he actually directed in it. Because this over here is that's Rodriguez, and what do we got? We got
Yeah, see, I thought you were
Desperado's
separating.
way over
I thought you
here.
were separating them purposefully, but it just happened to work out that way.
It just is just by common, yeah.
Ha ha ha.
All right, after that, finishing up the Vaughn bracket, we got another Jackie Chan classic. Drunken Master.
Okay. Drunken
Yeah.
Master 1 or 2?
This is Legend of Drunken Master.
So
which
that's
is Drunken
2.
Master 2.
Okay, all right.
You know what? I'll even put 2 there.
Yo, we got somebody looking.
Good.
How's it going?
Hey.
Well, and they left.
And they left. Hence, the trials and tribulation with Periscope.
Hey,
let's
Jay Tomlinson, what's up?
Hey, Jay, how you doing? We're doing the action movie playoffs. We have a list of movies, just as a reiteration. We have a list of movies here that we are pitting against head to head.
Unicornish X has also joined.
Awesome. Hey, Unicorn X.
Fucking A.
So we're pitting movies up against each other in the action category. We are also on YouTube, where we're going to do the majority of this. You can find us on Cretan's Guild. at
We're a
YouTube.
by God media empire, the likes of which Rockefeller has never seen before today.
I think Rockefeller had more than 3 people watching at once.
He might have,
Yeah.
but you know what? He's fucking dead.
Look at him now. We're going to finish up the Vaughn bracket. This is the Vaughn bracket, and the last movie in the Vaughn bracket is Dead Pen.
I already made the Deadpool joke.
Yeah,
Fuck.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Why? No. All right.
That is the one that got votes to get in.
We can solve this one right away. Drunken Master 2. Whoever put that on there, fucking flog yourself. What are you thinking?
These are multiple votes. This isn't just one person getting a movie in.
All right, then get a cat of nine tails.
All right, we're going to finish this up here. In the last bracket, we got the McTiernan vote, or bracket, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is a more recent movie. This is going to make you happy, Corey.
Lay it out.
Furry Road.
Okay. Furry?
Furry.
That's funny. It's very funny, Bob.
That's going to go against
That's adorable.
Braveheart. Classic period piece. An inaccurate historical telling of a movie, but
Uh-huh.
still a great movie.
And a perhaps inaccurate speculative fiction about the future. Who the hell knows? That's a pretty good pairing, though.
Yeah, Fury Road and Braveheart. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a good. Let's finish this all up with what some people might say is the absolute best action movie of all time.
The one
Terminator
that
2
the one that-
versus
the one that breaks my Cameron rule. Yeah.
Rambo. First Blood, just to make sure.
Hola, Comengo. How's it going?
All right. So that is the action movie playoffs. what is your personal favorite? What matchup do you see as being the most difficult?
Well, hang tight. Are we shooting a film? We're not shooting a
No,
film.
we're not shooting a film. We are getting people's responses. We want people to chime in and talk and engage with us.
Yeah, we're getting corny about films, perhaps a bit sappy, but this is a personal project that I don't know. I think you can explain it better than I can.
Well,
Just
this
right
was
now.
something, just to reiterate, this is something that Jay and I started a couple years ago. We did the comedy playoffs, and that went over pretty well.
Mhm.
The overall winner was Ghostbusters beating out Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And we decided recently on our podcast on Cretans Guild at YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little plug there.
Cretans Guild version 1.
Yeah. That we should do an action movie playoff. So we gauged our audience. We asked a whole bunch of people across all kinds of different forms of social media, what is your favorite action movie? And what we ended up getting was what you see in front of you. All these movies have been placed on the bracket according to popularity. So Die Hard, Aliens, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Enter the Dragon got the most votes.
I'm looking at the last first round here, and there could be a potentially pretty fierce matchup between Fury Road and Rambo First Blood.
Yeah, we
That would be interesting as hell.
every 4 brackets we've named after famous directors. We've got Cameron, Wu, Sturgis, and Hill on the left. On the right, we have Donner, Rodriguez, Vaughn, and McTiernan.
Mm-hmm.
And even if there's a particular movie that some people think should have gotten in, maybe Bloodsport should have gotten in.
I'm thinking about this now, and I'm like, what did we miss out on?
There were a couple that were just razor thin, like a vote or 2 away from getting in.
And how close was Roadhouse to getting on this bracket?
You know what? I don't think anybody voted for Roadhouse.
You're all sons of bitches. So there's no Roadhouse.
No Roadhouse got in.
Probably no Time Cop.
I think when I was telling people, give me your top 10 favorite movies of all time, and then give me your top 10 most obscure action movies of all time. And Roadhouse never came up.
I can't. Wait, you asked me even, and I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't say Roadhouse.
You didn't even vote for it.
All right. Well, you know what?
I didn't vote for it.
Hand over the flog. I got some penance to do, because that's just bad.
All right. So, what is the? Where do you think the biggest upset's going to be?
Biggest upset.
Yeah.
Now that's a good question. I think you've got too many. You've got a ton of colossi in the left fourth bracket over here.
The Hill bracket.
The Hill bracket.
Yeah,
right?
that's the one I was thinking would be the absolute toughest.
Like, imagine if Super Cop broke out of that bracket. That'd be nuts.
Any one of those could go all the way to the final 4, if not the final 2.
Mm-hmm. But there are so many people that have not actually seen Super Cop, because that
True.
it was localized and given that title during a time where, for some reason, importing kung fu movies was a huge trend. I think that happened after Rumble in the Bronx, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we saw similar with like Legend of Drunken Master coming over, et cetera, et cetera. But it's just like, whenever you think of like the iconic action movies, it's going to be at least 2 of those in Terminator and Lethal Weapon. Some people will say Spider-Man 2. If Super Cop broke out of that, that would be almost unprecedented.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. What else would we see? Enter the Dragon's got a pretty decent pull over there, because those are a lot of movies, and a lot of people talk about this one right there, Enter the Dragon.
Yes.
I'd be willing to say that very few of them have actually seen the movie, and I'm going to be one of those people that can openly admit that I haven't seen it.
That's a really good point.
Uh-huh.
But I think Enter the Dragon has more of a stigma about it. It's like, oh man, that's one of the greatest action movies of all time. Have you seen it? No.
No, you just have to kind of like nod your head.
They
and
just
agree,
accept it. Yeah.
because Bruce Lee is in it, and you have to that's how you sign your man card, I guess. I don't know.
Now, Enter the Dragon,
Mhm.
big action movie, very good action movie.
Mhm.
Not better than Drunken Master 2, in my opinion.
There's very little that's better than Drunken Master 2.
This is true.
Holy crap. Like, in terms of in practical stagecraft, it set the bar so freaking high that very few are ever able to match it until maybe the late 90s.
Technically, when was that movie made? It was like
70-something, wasn't it?
No.
Really? I thought so. I don't know. I don't really know about I'm not too schooled on the history of Jackie Chan, but he has been in the game for a very long time.
Yeah, I'm going to look that up right now, because that's actually bothering me.
All right, please do. There's something else I wanted to mention here in addition to those other movies. If Kingsman broke out of that of that round, which I'm personally kind of backing
No,
because
No,
Mhm.
Kingsman will not be Enter the Dragon, no matter how much we would want that to.
no shit.
That would be my guarantee
Okay,
of this entire thing. Kingsman will not get past Enter the Dragon.
all right.
As
and
much as Jay would love it to.
Kingsman. So Kingsman's your dark horse then. If it did, it would be
Kingsman would
very
be the
unexpected.
Cinderella story if it got past Enter the Dragon.
It's a Cinderella story I wouldn't mind seeing because Vaughn deserves those ups.
The 1-8 seed I see
Mhm.
having the best chance actually would probably be The Rock, but it would have to be
It would
Die
have to be
Hard.
Die Hard. Oh shit.
Let's see. Wikipedia says Drunken Master was made in '94. Is that when it came to America, or is that when it was made?
I think that was when it was imported. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the first Drunken Master, which was '78.
Oh yeah, that's what they just pulled up. I put Legend of Drunken Master, and this says Drunken Master '78. No,
Yeah. Okay. I'm kind of getting it. Oh, there's some more here listed. First Strike. I remember that one. Who Am I was pretty great. The friggin' Drunken Master is a cut above all of those. Like the first fight with his mom, or when his mom was not this isn't technically a character's mom, but one of his guardians, his stepmom or something like that. Seeing her whip ass against that group of guys was just the limit. And then the axe fight in the restaurant was.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was the exclamation point on the entire sentence.
That I had to sit down after that.
It was a run-on sentence of fistacular, explosive glory, and that one scene was the exclamation point that did everybody in the audience in. It was just like, boom, lie down.
All right, what have we not talked a whole lot about?
The odd one's up here. This is interesting.
In the middle there, the Rodriguez bracket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Predator, Two Towers, and Die Hard Pacific Rim. Die Hard 2.
Because Predator looks like pretty much the Roman Reigns of that bracket, and that you're just kind of expecting it to go ahead, regardless of whether or not you think it deserves to. It's Predator, so obviously I'm going to put my backing against it. I don't remember a whole lot of the Two Towers besides that, but if it goes up either one of these two,
Die Hard or Pacific Rim.
Die Hard 2 or Pacific Rim, again, you would say, all right, it's going to be Predator, but these two, they've got some pretty dedicated cult fans. So who the hell knows?
So let's just pick our top 8.
Mm-hmm.
Like who's going to make it to the 1, 2, 3rd round?
Mm-hmm.
Based on this, let's see. I think, boy, oh boy, Die Hard. I'm going to say Die Hard gets all the way, takes out those other 3.
Okay.
Let's see.
Even Hardboiled.
Even Hardboiled.
Oh, don't do that to me.
Hardboiled's got to get past Guardians of the Galaxy, which is still, well, actually, that's a,
yeah.
what seeds are those? That's
Guardians
a 4
of
and 5 seed.
The advantage that Guardians sports is that it is still the glamour of the new.
Yes.
I have tried to show Hardboiled to people before, and yet, like I said
because
before,
of the age of the film.
Like I said before, to the right kind of person, it'll seem like it goes by in a flash. But some people I've shown it to are like, come on, god damn it. What is it? Oh my god, there's an hour and a half left. What are you doing to me? And it's like, it's a good movie. This is what good movies look like, dude. You just get into it. And some people can't. And it's not their fault. Well, yes, it is. Yeah. But it's not like a failing of character on their part, It's just the way the movie was made in the time it was made in.
That's right, yeah.
So Guardians for a lot of people is going to be the torchbearer.
Out of that next area, the Woo, Bad Boys 2, 300, Gladiator, Dark Knight.
Dark Knight.
You think Dark Knight? Well, that's your personal pick?
That's my personal pick.
Okay.
I don't have a whole lot of love lost for 300 or Gladiator, and I've never seen Bad Boys 2, so it's going to be Dark Knight.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. After that, we got Aliens, Desperado, RoboCop, Shoot 'Em Up.
One extra thing about the Dark Knight.
Oh, yeah.
Only because Heat isn't on here, and I believe that's something that has at least a little bit to do with Heat, even parenthetically, ought to deserve to gain some ground in this.
Yeah, Heat probably should have been on this list, but
what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Well, that's going to be a discussion we're going to have on our podcast in the next one.
Mm-hmm.
What movie we think needs not be on here and what we will replace it with if we have that option. This is the set bracket. It is not changing from this, no matter how much someone
I can't even
pitches.
grease anybody's palms.
You can't grease anything.
Because I got a dollar bill here.
I used a Sharpie. There. It's staying on there and I freaked out the dog.
That did nothing.
All right. Let's look at Aliens, Desperado, RoboCop, Shoot 'Em Up.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is going to make it out of those 4?
Realistically speaking?
Yes.
Aliens.
Yeah.
Aliens.
Yeah. The last one on the left. That one's going to be the toughest one, in my opinion. I've said that a couple times. Lethal Weapon, Spider-Man 2, Terminator, Super Cop.
That's where the upset's going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, you think there's going to be a big upset or a...
I think no matter what movie makes it out of that bracket, with the exception of one element, which would shock the shit out of anybody watching, for the most part,
I think Terminator's going to win that one.
some people are going to be very happy with how that turns out, and a lot of people are going to be very unhappy.
Yeah, someone's going to get upset over this.
Because you've got 3 bulwarks going head-to-head, and Super Cop. Personally, I mean, I'm hoping that, like, in a realistic scenario, Lethal Weapon's going to break out. But personally, I hope Super Cop gets it.
Yeah.
Just because.
Moving up to the top right corner, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Commando, Jurassic Park, Independence Day. Raiders of the Lost Ark, excellent movie. I don't believe it's a better action movie. Actually, that entire bracket is kind of like somewhat, aside from if we're going by pure action, Commando's the best one.
Yes.
But we're going by the best overall action movie. Which, that probably might be Raiders.
The likelihood of Raiders going head-to-head against Jurassic is very high.
But yeah.
ID4 is one of those things where it is best enjoyed on your third martini, perhaps, at around 1 a.m. Commando's like a fierce fucking storm of whoop ass from beginning to end, but it's not. It is not Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it is just barely up to the level of Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
Jurassic Park has a decided advantage.
It's dinosaurs, man. What more do you want?
It's one of the first movies to popularize the usage of advanced filmmaking technology, and I think that by that single merit, it's going to go a little ways.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Let's see the next one, the Rodriguez bracket. That's Predator, The Two Towers, Die Hard 2, and Pacific Rim. If Predator doesn't win that, I will be shocked.
I've made my feelings known about that. It's probably going to be Predator. It would be a dilemma between that and Pacific Rim because Pacific Rim is kind of one of my guilty pleasures. But I think Predator is going to go all the way with that.
Yeah. After that, we got the Vaughn, which is Enter the Dragon, Kingsman, Drunken Master 2, Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
I'm happy as long as Mr. and Mrs. Smith didn't get anywhere near the second fucking bracket. If it does, I will lose complete faith in the movie-going public, or at least the voting public.
I think Drunken Master could win that one.
And if Mr. and Mrs. Smith makes it to the third bracket, I will commit seppuku live on camera.
Oh my god!
Right as you're writing it into that bracket.
I actually have better hope for Kingsman than I do Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Well, that's good because Kingsman's actually a good movie.
Yeah.
So,
but it's up against such a juggernaut in the first round.
That's true. Yes.
If it does get past that, oh my god,
now
anything's possible.
Now, if these two go head to head, that'll be a tough choice.
Kingsman and Drunken Master.
Kingsman and Drunken Master. Yeah,
it is that. Well, I'm not gonna say it's impossible, but man, that's another one. And finally, McTiernan. We got Fury Road, Braveheart, Terminator 2, Rambo: First Blood. I honestly think Terminator 2, I believe Terminator 2 is my favorite to win the whole thing.
It did a lot. It did a lot in terms of action sequencing. It did a lot in terms of elevating special effects.
Yep, the technology of the movie was in first unseen before.
It did a lot in terms of making politics palatable, which if you had to pick a bracket to put it in against Braveheart, Fury Road, and Rambo: First Blood, yeah. This is the one where like academics probably fucking bite each other's heads off on Twitter over.
Which is not saying those other 3 movies are a pushover. Those are awesome action movies. Like some of the best ever made action movies. That's a tough bracket.
But calling the final bracket, it is likely that this guy right here would be the one to make it all the way to the middle.
Make it all the way to the finals. Up against what would you suspect? Yeah. There's a couple of heavyweights on the right, and they're not saying there's no heavyweights on the left, but
see, the way I'm looking at it, it's
maybe
like
aliens.
It's like almost all heavyweights on the left. T2, if it goes up against anything else on the right bracket, it is likely, with maybe the exception of Predator or Raiders, it's probably going to topple the majority of them.
Yeah, it would. Boy, oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, we've got
the team balance is not so good for the right side.
No, well, yeah, there's a couple of weak spots, but Schwarzenegger. We should call the right side all Schwarzenegger. We have Commando, Predator, Terminator. Well, we have Terminator over here as well,
Mhm.
but those are the better. The ones on the right are the better
Yeah.
ones.
And there's like definite Teutonic dominance from the Austrian oak. That's what they used to call 'em.
Wow. Well,
How lame is that?
but as you can see, we got some tough choices to make, and it's going to require people to vote to get these movies to advance.
Now, I'd like to put forth the disclaimer before that one dude all the way in the back pipes up. I tried to get The Last Dragon on here. Let it be known, but nobody was having the Shogun of Harlem. As much as I pled with the judges and those in power, they're just not having it. And as a matter of fact, I was pretty sure I was laughed at a couple of times. But you've got someone in your corner, you Last Dragon fans, and I understand the pain.
Both of
So, yeah, both of you. All right.
All right, so we're going to need a lot of people tuning in to our Instagram, to our Twitter, to our YouTube channel. Find us at Cretans Guild. If you participate, your movie will have more likely of a chance to move on. If you don't, your movie will fall to the wayside.
Put your dukes up and put your votes down.
I like that.
Let your voices be heard.
Yeah, we got to hear you.
It's a democratic process, damn it.
And nowhere on this list is Donald Trump. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please, please, please vote.
Unless Home Alone 2 is on here. But no.
No, this is action
This is
movies,
not
not
really an action
crappy
movie.
Christmas sequel.
Crappy, come on. That's the one that most people watch after the first one.
Well, yeah, because you have to watch the first one, or you're not going to see this. Not going to get the second one.
I just watch it because of sheer Schadenfreude. I like knowing that there's another family out there, even in a fictional setting, that's more effed up than mine. At least effed up to the point to forget their kid while going on an international vacation twice.
Twice.
Well, they went to Florida that second time. But anyway,
And it rained.
yes, they're dysfunctional. Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Please, yes, vote, vote, vote. Again, that's Cretans Guild. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. YouTube is the main place. That's where we do our podcast. We're going to talk about more of these movies in this bracket on the podcast, so you need to tune in for those.
Can they find us on Pornhub?
Not yet.
All right, I'll get to work on that.
Yeah, let's go get naked.
Okay.